order you some food for delivery, and the delivery person wants you to come out to their car to get it, I'm like, that ain't delivery.
That ain't delivery.
Welcome.
We back, man.
Live at the barbecue.
Hey, man. We episode 20, dog.
Episode 20.
That's a milestone, man.
Hey, man, I want to take a moment to congratulate us, bro.
For being us.
For being us and for actually following through with some shit that we say we gonna do and actually do it.
For sure. Over and over consistently, dog.
Consistently.
20
of these joints.
20 every week. Every week, dog. Without fail. That's huge. Since November? That ain't small, man.
November.
And it can't be taken lightly, man.
It can't, man. And every now and then, you know, that gray shit that you be talking about can be extended to us.
That's right, man.
We argue, we beef. Nah, you know what? I wouldn't even say that ain't even something we do. I think we gotta, every now and then, I think we might have to have like direct conversations, but it ain't like, the beautiful part about those moments is that we ain't saying something to the other person that they don't already know.
Right.
There's something about accountability and having somebody witness you and to kind of like be like, hey, man.
Yeah.
And then you like, I know.
And that's the other part. We not only we not saying anything that we don't know, we're not receiving anything that we didn't already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know when we being slight. We know when, you know what I'm saying? When we ain't doing. But we still here, dog. And accountability means that also, when we recognize it, we correct it as best we can in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
And think of how much shit we reject just purely simply because of who's saying it.
All the time.
Like a motherfucker you don't like and they say some shit that be 100% solid.
Dog.
And you'll pop off, not because they was wrong, but because you just don't like them.
You don't like how they say it.
Like you don't like how they say it, you just don't like them.
Yeah.
Like motherfucker, like, especially like when you in your relationships with people. Somebody like my ex-wife at the time, she'd say some shit and it's like, I'm not feeling you. So the fact that you saying it, I'm just not feeling you.
And I wonder, does that come from, dog, just the history of it? And you feel like that, you know, that person who's presented it to you ain't got no space to present shit to you? Or do you just get to a point where you just like, man, I'm not trying to hear anything you got to say. You just shut off completely.
I think it's all the above, bro.
Yeah, you're right,
like it's all the motherfucking above.
You right, dog.
And it's like, even you gonna hear what you want to hear when you want to hear it.
Yep. And eventually, dog, in them quiet moments, you take stock of what they said, but you never admit it, even if they was right, and you know they was right, and you gonna make the correction. You never be like, you know what, you was right.
So let's tune the fork, bro, and do this. When is the last time somebody said some shit to you that you know was solid, but you responded in a way or did not acknowledge that what they said was solid? You ain't got to say it out loud, but go to that person.
Okay.
Out the motherfucking whim, like out of the blue, and be like, yo, I know I didn't respond the way I was supposed to the other day, but you was 100% right.
Dog, you asking two things. You asking two big things, dog. We gotta break it down.
Okay.
You're asking to tune a fork, right? We talk about tuning it.
Yep.
Changing the frequency. Mm-hmm. You asking not only to acknowledge your slightness,
yep,
right? Or my slightness and your slightness in any given situation, but also to acknowledge the fact that the person who you don't like, who presented that slightness, you got to go and reconcile that situation. You got to say, I recognize that I was being slight and you was right.
I don't even know if reconciliation is the objective. Acknowledging your slightitude is the objective, and letting that person know.
All right.
Here's what happened the other day, bro. I had a plumber come to the crib, right? I'm having plumbing issues. Did we talk about this?
We did. We did.
Had a plumber come to the house. We get off on the wrong foot, bro.
Yo.
And off on the wrong foot. I'm talking, he's cutting me off, and I'm getting frustrated to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Now, I'm yelling.
But at what point, dog, did it turn from frustration to yelling? Like,
I felt like he wasn't listening to me, and he was cutting me off.
Okay.
And so I was basically asking him, how much is this going to cost?
Yeah.
And then he's telling me something I'm not asking.
Right.
And he's using like plumbing industry terms that I don't get.
So did you feel like he was trying to trick you?
No, it was just confusing.
Like,
so like I need to get a stem replaced.
Right.
So in the bathroom, that shit just came yesterday, dude.
Yeah.
It takes 6 weeks from Sweden or some shit. But anyway.
What kind of sink you got?
It's a bro.
You ready to go to Home Depot and get that joint? What is happening?
Another topic.
All right. Shout out to
I need a cartridge.
Okay.
And he's calling a cartridge a stem and a stem and a cartridge. This is probably two. And so I'm getting confused. This is the first time I'm being introduced to this terminology, right? I don't know. So he's like, one statement he'll say, oh, I need to remove the stem. And then like the next sentence, he'll say, yeah, because once the cartridge is out, and I was like, okay, so what is the cartridge? He's getting frustrated because I'm not understanding what he's saying. I'm getting frustrated because he's using different terms.
Right.
And then that frustration is just leading to now I'm yelling. Like, and the dude looks at me, and now, you know how you could tell when somebody's getting mad?
Yeah.
And he's shaking.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, because you yelling at me, man. And I'm looking, and I'm like, why are you shaking? I'm like,
so this is happening in your crib?
In the crib. So listen, I said, dude, you are absolutely right, man. You did not deserve for me to speak to you like this.
You said that?
I am frustrated. And I feel like I'm confused and we're not on the same page. Please forgive me for stepping outside of myself and disrespect.
Dog, you said that?
Yes, bro.
Dog, you've come a long way.
And I was like, please forgive me.
That's crazy.
We still need to get this resolved because I'm unclear. But I want you to know that I recognize that I am not handling this properly. And I am sorry for that. And the dude's still shaking. It's like, and the more I'm trying to lower it, because in his mind, he justified in getting ready to want to pop off.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, because at first my mind was like, motherfucker, we can go how far do you want to go? And that's not constructive.
Nah.
So recognizing when we're wrong, even if portions of the situation we were right in, somebody got to go first.
True.
Somebody got to go first. And maybe a part of, because what's clean is clean, bro. And we can't use the fact, we try to justify our wrong, and that's not clean.
I think, dog, that I think a lot of times we have a point of view or a feeling like you felt frustrated, which was valid, right? But you didn't, like the pop off part comes how you handle that frustration. So instead of saying at first, look, man, I don't understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of just expressing the fact that you're frustrated, you normally, like me too, when you feel frustrated, you immediately go into defense, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to pop off mode. Yeah. Because I'm feeling frustrated and I don't like, you making me feel frustrated.
Yeah.
So I think that's the that's the wrong, dog. The feeling of frustration is valid because he was saying things that were confusing you.
But we will use, so there were like 10 things that happened in that exchange.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say I felt that I was only responsible for 3 of the 10.
Right, right.
I gotta own them 3. But what happens a lot of times is if we feel that the other person has committed more infractions, we will use that as justification to keep going without pausing to be like, yo, I'm not contributing in a healthy way.
That's clean.
In the best way that I can.
That's clean.
Because maybe that 3 caused your 7.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But let me just go ahead and acknowledge it now.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's gonna go away. It doesn't mean it's gonna change how you feel. But for me to know that I caught myself in that moment, and I know we kind of, because ultimately I think we were talking about letting somebody know when you responded in a way that was counter to what you should have done.
Right.
And sometimes we can do it in the moment, and sometimes we can actually go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's value in going back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I wasn't the man I needed to be, that you were expecting. I'm sorry I made this arrangement and couldn't keep it. It's not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
It's some other shit that's going on with me, and that I wanted to move in a different direction. And when I was lashing out at you, that wasn't even really about you. And I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But we'll be like, oh, because you called me a bitch, or you told me, I wasn't shit.
Right.
Tell me my dick was little, whatever it is, and then the next thing you know, you off onto some other shit, and you've gone down a path that you were just a part of contributing to than the other person.
Yeah, and then we all that's clean, dog, and then we lump it all, we carry it all. So every infraction that we feel, we carry it all to the next thing. So we never let go of the infractions, like you said, you called me this, you called me. We carry that into the next infraction. And so it's never really about the thing. It's about all the shit that we put on to that thing. So we never truly, it's hard to say, hey man, look, I did this thing and I'm sorry. But because you, like you said, dog, you feel like, well, shit, they called me, so you feel justified in lashing back out. But you can't carry thing to thing. You can't carry thing to the next thing, man. So, but that's hard as shit. I just want to put that out there too.
But this is an aspect of manhood that I don't think we speak about a lot, bro.
Nah, we don't.
So there is this thing about being a thermostat and a thermometer.
Yeah.
When we're talking about developing the parts of ourselves, a part of that shit is understanding that you are a thermometer and a thermostat.
Break that down, dog.
So a thermometer tells you what the temperature is of a space.
Right.
A thermostat sets the temperature.
Clean.
So if you are a man walking into a space, trying to establish a situation, trying to establish a family, trying to establish a business thing, or whatever the case may be, you as the dude got to walk in and understand what the temperature is and what you want it to be.
Right.
Because you are the thermostat. You set the goddamn temperature.
Yeah.
So if that bitch if it's cold and it need to be 85,
right.
You set it to 85, and then you tell the other people in the room, it's 85.
Yeah.
They might not want it to be hot.
Right.
But sometimes you got to be something for people that they can't be for themselves.
Right.
And grace comes with that.
Right.
Patience comes with that. And we can't, what we'll do a lot of times, especially in our romantic relationships, is we'll enter into that thing with the best of intentions. We'll meet a person who's struggling, who's in pain, who's trying to overcome their past and all of that kind of shit. And then they will start reacting to us in ways that aren't constructive.
Right.
And then we will use that as justification to get off our square. So we're letting them set the temperature. When sometimes you meet these people, everybody we meet ain't gonna be the healthiest. We ain't the healthiest when we meet them.
Right.
But understanding that we gotta be the tone setter for that space.
Right.
And realize that they might fight a little bit at the beginning or whatever it is, but you gotta set the temperature.
But let me ask you this. So that's clean. When we go into these things, a lot of times, we are already, all over the place in both things, in how we read the space and how we set the temperature.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know. I mean, because of the shit that we've been through, we don't know what the fuck is happening. So there's a level of, like, I don't know what to call it, man. Is it stability? Is it enlightenment? It's not enlightenment, because that's one of them words that I don't like.
Me too.
Understanding? Is it? I mean, I don't know. It could be a series of different things that you have to at least be moving in the direction of, in order for you to be able to properly gauge temperature and properly set temperature.
Sometimes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so a part of being a good leader is also understand. I don't even think we really know what that means.
Exactly.
And
that's
so,
exactly my point.
Just us even having this conversation, you meet a woman and you get with her and y'all date or whatever the case may be.
Right.
That ain't your job as a man necessarily.
Right.
Reproduce, pay some bills, and all that old other shit.
Right.
You got a lot of things that come along with that. Right. Leading is also a meaning for me, in terms of one of the things that I focus on, is like, how can I set the tone? How can I be the thermostat?
Right.
Because that is, to me, that is just as a part of leading.
Yeah.
Knowing you're going to come into here sometimes wanting to get me off my square, not even knowing consciously that you want to do that.
Okay.
Because you got some energy from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You don't know what necessarily do with it.
Yeah.
You're not even that in tune with yourself to even know that this is how you give it off.
Right.
So, like, as the dude, I've got to understand those dynamics at play, see what's going on, and then stay on my square so that I can moderate the temperature of that relationship. Because if we allow emotions, bro, to dictate and drive, we will go off proverbial cliffs all the time. And this is one of the things we talk to young people about doing. Hey, man, you can't let everything somebody say get to you.
Yeah.
You can't let every time somebody say something to you, piss you off and get you to a point to where you responding in a way that ain't clean.
Yeah.
But yet and still, as the adults, we do that shit all the goddamn time.
Yep.
And in reality, they just mirroring what they seeing from the adults.
Yep. Clean.
And so a part of that shit, like showing them, like, hey man, imagine this. If I had a son looking at me that day that plumber was there, bro, I would be embarrassed.
Right.
I'm not showing him the right way to run some shit, to control your emotions.
Yeah.
And to navigate a situation in a constructive way. I'm showing him how to be emotional.
Yeah.
How to respond in emotional ways.
Yeah.
And that's not clean, because if I'd got a call from his school and the school was like, yo, James Jr., popped off on somebody for some shit like this.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what's going on with you, son?
Yeah.
I gotta hold myself to the same standard, higher.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's heavy, man. Because I think what you did, dog, is that you sort of brought it back. Even in your apology, you sort of came back to your square. So you kind of moved off. I don't even know if it's really off your square.
I was off.
That's part of it.
I know I lost my emotions.
You lost control of your emotions.
I lost control of my emotions.
That's
to me, that's the definition of getting off my square.
Okay.
Not allowing those shits to just go down non-constructive paths. Because I can feel it. Feeling it. You can't. It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
I didn't do the right thing with the shit.
Yeah. So, and again, dog, that requires a level of like, when you feel like, or when you think that that's okay, because a lot of us, man, walk around and we think getting in these emotional battles with people, random people, people we know, people we love, like battles is part of it, right? We don't see that that's not how we should show up, right? We don't understand that we are supposed to set the temperature, but in order to set that temperature, you have to be in control of what's happening around you. You have to be able to see outside. Things can't happen to you. You have to recognize what's happening and be able to respond based on what you know is the right way to respond.
Yeah.
A lot of times, dog, shit hit us and we immediately react.
Yeah.
And that is when you've already lost, when you immediately react. So how do we get to a place where we recognize that, when we can take a step back and say, wait, what's happening? Or to say, you know, the temperature is off. Let me make the adjustment. What's that process?
For me, it is immediately, and that's a great question. I looked and I was like, this ain't even about him.
Right. Yeah.
It is never about the other person.
Yep.
If you beefing with your wife, it ain't about your wife.
Yep.
If you beefing with your kids, it ain't about your kids. If you beefing with the plumber, it ain't about the plumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are just coming to these spaces the best way that they can.
Yeah.
With the tools that they have. Everybody is coming through a path that arrives at this point in the same way that you are.
Yeah.
And so it ain't personal.
Yep.
It's never personal. Even when it comes off as personal. Even if the motherfuckers know your full name, know your social security number, and be like, no. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
Bitch. I'm talking about you. And give all your shit down.
Right.
It still ain't about you.
You're right, dog.
And so the challenge in those instances when you feel attacked is to recognize that you're not being attacked.
Right.
And it's not about the other person. There's something else going on in this dynamic that I could actually be focusing on.
Right.
Because it's ultimately always comes back to you. This is why relationships fail, bro.
Yeah.
Because the attention is put on the other person and what they're not doing. If both people focused on their shit, and sometimes you gotta be the other person. Sometimes you are the person focusing on your shit, and the other person is focusing on your shit too.
For sure.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
That happens, shit, that's probably most of the time.
Yeah. In one form or the other.
Yeah. And maybe you doing it for them, and then next thing you know, they doing it for you, and it's just a ebb and flow. But the thing is, what are you committed to? And to the best of your ability. Because there's always going to be time to tap out, bro. There's always going to be that time where you say, you know what, this ain't working. And what you're really saying is, I'm having difficulty accommodating the situation for what it is, because you're gonna go and leave and go somewhere else. You're gonna have challenges. You get to determine how strong they are, how difficult they are. Like, because we'll leave somebody and be like, oh, I don't like the way she was talking, and then you go meet somebody else. You're gonna be like, I don't like the way they was walking, and then you go meet somebody else. I don't like the way they eat, and then you go somewhere else. Like, it's always going to be something that you don't like and that pisses you off.
And dog, you have to be willing to look at yourself and who you are, what you've been through, what you've experienced, and understand that even in those experiences, those past experiences, they ain't got nothing to do with you. Whatever you've been through, whatever, experiences, traumatic, heartbreak, heartache, pain, whatever, whoever you feel like did that to you, it wasn't about you. They had their own thing. So the quicker we can let go, because a lot of times, man, we get wound so tight over the past shit that we just unload that shit on present shit. And then we add that to it and we wind up again and then, you know what I'm saying, to complete strangers.
Yeah.
So until we can figure out a way to let go, I mean, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta understand who you are, where you come from, and you gotta release a lot of that shit. And that'll teach you, that'll move you in a direction of being able to look at shit as not about you and let that go too. Because a lot of times we just are like, when candy gets wet and the shit fall on the ground and you try to pick that shit up and it got all the dirt and shit on it, you know, no matter what you do, you can't get that shit off. Nah. You know what I'm saying? We stick to those past things, man, and we cannot, it's virtually impossible to move forward in a positive way if you can't let go of the shit that's happened to you in your past. Or that you think has happened to you in your past. You know what I'm saying? You're not attached to those things. Those are just, that's gone. They don't even exist no more. So, but I think to move in that direction, to be able to control your square and not let anything move you off of that square, dog, you have to be able to look back and release all that shit. Or at least start to. Because once you decide to, and you can, you know, release some things or move to releasing it, then you have just in that decision, you have a different understanding about what you're looking at in front of you. You know what I'm saying? But again, you always going to stumble. You always going to have plumbers that come, and, you know what I'm saying? You go right back. Yeah. But then the fact that you recognized it and you made the adjustment is huge. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for, because most of us wouldn't make that adjustment. Until we sitting in the cell after we done tussle for about 45 minutes, and now we want to reflect on, damn, I shouldn't have done that.
And that's why even going back to those people, somebody got to go first, dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody got to go first. And even in the whole point, and what I like about this conversation is that you can't unknow it. Yeah. Like somebody who's listening to this.
Yeah.
And even when we're talking, now you got it in your mind. And you know who you should be called, who you should call.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And now we'll eat you up.
Right.
That's going to eat the right person up.
You know, it's funny, man. And sometimes it's not even like, I remember one time just recently, man, I was here, man. I had shit, mad shit going on. Work and shit, I had all that shit doing. When the kids was homeschooling and needed I don't know what it was, man. It was something, what was it? The printer paper? Something simple like that. So I went up to Michael's and tried to get some print. I forgot, it must have been print. It was something simple like that. And I asked the little girl, man, and I still feel bad about that. But I asked her for, y'all got printer paper. Y'all got printer paper. And, you know, she was 16, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, whoa, no, that's going to be something you probably would have to go to Office Depot to get. And I looked at her, I said, don't you think I know that they got printer paper at Office Depot? I didn't want to go to Office Depot. That's why I came here. I really gave it to her, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, we don't have, never mind. And I just left, you know what I'm saying? And I felt bad getting in the truck. I shouldn't have came off of her, but I ain't going back because I ain't got time. But what I did was at the next, I don't know where it was, man. Oh, so when I left there, I went and got paper or whatever, and I came back and I was getting coffee. So I paid for the person's coffee behind me as just to say, you know, I always want to apologize to, you know, whatever, because, you know, I felt bad about it. But, you know, again, dog, it ain't about, that ain't had nothing to do with that little girl, what she said. Even if she was being snarky or sarcastic, whatever I thought she was being, it wasn't. She ain't, come on. It wasn't really. So, again, dog, it is really being able to understand that whatever you're looking at, you gotta remove yourself from it and be able to look at it from the outside looking in, not from the inside looking out. So you're not feeling like it's always an attack. You have to be able to see it as just emotion.
Yeah.
And you're in control of that emotion. That emotion is not in control of you. So you respond, even if you gotta step back and say, you know what, I'm gonna go take a minute and get, you know what I'm saying, and then come back to it. Whatever you got to do in the moment, because it ain't gonna be, you ain't gonna wake up and get it right. You're gonna have to go through adjustments.
So let me ask you a question. If Marley did what you did as the parent, what would you tell Marley to do to fix that situation?
I would tell him what I just said. I would say, man, look, and I get it. I would say to him, look, man, I get it. I done been there.
No, what would you tell him to do? Would you tell him to do if you know he did something that was disrespectful to another person,
right?
What would you tell Marley to do?
If that person was in his sphere of existence, that means if it was a teammate, schoolmate, whatever, I would say go apologize, make amends, right? If it wasn't, then I would tell him to do something.
Okay, so you could have went back.
I could have, of course.
You could have.
Of course.
And I went back to Michael's.
I've been back. It's up the street.
Did you tell her you saw her?
I didn't see her. If I saw her, when I see her again, I will make sure that I apologize.
So why you only going back on the days that she ain't there?
How the hell am I supposed to know what her schedule is, dog?
I'm fucking with you.
God know, I didn't know her name.
You like, is Brittany there today? All right, I'll be up there.
Grown man.
Like, Brittany there? Nah, she ain't here. Okay, I'll be up there.
When she work? Grown man asks if Brittany work.
You be there on Wednesday.
I'll be here. She ain't here? All right, good. I'll be there.
Dodging Brittany. Hey, Brittany, at Michael's.
We sorry, man. I'm
sorry.
Shit,
I ain't do nothing.
Dog, I represent 2 to 4.
Nah, you know you don't.
Oh, now we not in this together?
You represent life.
Yeah, man. I owe her, and I know when I'm gonna see her, dog. When I see her again, I'm up. If I remember what she looked like.
The reason why I mentioned that is because we all have titles. We're either a friend, we're either a brother, we're either a father, a son, a daughter, whatever. And those titles give us certain positions and responsibilities to those people we hold those titles for, right?
Right.
And we got to be certain things. Those titles come with certain responsibilities. And so a large part that makes me want to be solid as a man, as an individual, is so I can be as solid I can to the tribe that I'm with, that I represent. That I draw a lot of love and inspiration and support from. And so when I think about how I can be the best person I can be, I actually think about you, bro. And it's crazy, I think about Terrell, I think about my brothers, I think about Zendo, I think about Kelly. Like these people, they'd be like, what would I want them to do? What would I want them to know that I did in this situation so that they could be proud of me?
That's clean.
And when we look, and a lot of times, if we look at, okay, what would I want my son to do? What would I want my brother to do? Let me go do that. Because if I want to, because there are things that we're trying to communicate. And most of the communication, the deepest, the coldest, most impactful shit is the actions.
Right.
And so, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were having challenges in their relationship, and I was like, you know what you need to do. You have a daughter. What would you want your daughter to do?
Right.
If she had a boyfriend and had all the knowledge that you have, what would you tell your daughter to do in that situation? Do that. Because I know what you would tell your daughter to do. I know what you would tell your son to do in that situation. Because there's a dope lesson in doing that.
Yeah. But see, that also goes for, that's clean. Let me say that first. That also goes to the inverse. The mistakes that you've made, you know what I'm saying? And when you see them make mistakes, the same empathy that you want to show yourself, or that you should show yourself, is the same level of grace and empathy that you give to them.
Yep.
Not coddling, not a pass to be whatever, but to have them understand that I get it. And dog, this is what we always get back to, that grace. I get it, man. I've been there, but I had to do this, or I made sure that I did what we just talked about. That the mistakes, it ain't about the mistakes. It's about, how is that going to make you better? What are you going to do to at least try to mitigate that mistake and learn from it? What is the course of action? You know what I'm saying? And to say to them, man, and this is, for me, a recent revelation. Just shit. And what we've done, just talking through, look, man, mistakes, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? And because then that is the voice that they have moving forward when they make their mistakes. Because when we talk about, when you just said, what would you want them to do? That's what you should do. That voice that's in your head a lot of times tells you the opposite. And you get into this battle with that voice, but that voice comes from years of hearing it. If you got a voice in your head that says, man, it's cool, whatever we done, we did that, we fumbled that one, but we gonna get it back. If you got that voice, that changes the game all around, dog. And if that voice is a remembrance of your man, you know what I'm saying, of your father, of your brother, or somebody who cares about you, if you use that voice, if I can be that voice to somebody to say, hey man, shit, we all play as fuck up, we all do. You know what I'm saying? What you need from me, let's get it back. Let's make it, you know what I'm saying? Let's make it right. Let's get whatever you want to do. How you trying to, whatever you're ready for, whenever you're ready for it, I'm here to help you through it. And that becomes that inside voice, dog. Yeah. So when you do talk about what would Terrell and Kelly and all of them think, there's also that voice that comes from them. Because I done talked to Terrell and said the same thing. And he's said, man, it's cool, man. We going, you know what I'm saying? Forgive yourself.
And I think it depends on where you are, because
it all depends on where you are, but yeah.
Yeah, and because the responsibility really is to yourself.
Yes.
Because you could say it starts, because you could be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep making mistakes. I always get it. Like, how long can you say that before it eventually? Because at the end of the day, as the individual, you got to be like, damn, man, I'm just gonna stay slight.
but we ain't talking about the same mistake, because what happens is once you start to show yourself grace and you start to say what you just said, hey man, I'm not doing that no more. I'm gonna do it this way. You know what I'm saying? And then you start down the road to that. It's plenty of mistakes to be made about a myriad of different shit. And you're going to stumble and you're going to slip and you're going, as you're moving in that direction. But the thing is, once you add that grace piece, that's when you start to move in that direction. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes we will be like, hey man, fuck it. Whatever. And then you just do the same thing again.
Because that's a different conversation.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah, that's not the same thing.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. But it's related, but it's not the same conversation. I don't know what that is, dog. What is that when you do it and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again? What is that?
I think is so.
Do you ever forgive yourself for doing it and then redoing it over and over again? Or you just make excuses?
No, so if you want to feel like shit, you'll probably keep doing shit to make you feel like shit.
Clean.
So
that's clean.
And that's actually something that I use. Like, I think about the people that I've hurt in the past.
Yeah.
And I use that also as fuel to do the right thing.
Yes.
because all of it matters.
Yep.
Like I'm not, and that doesn't mean that I'm living in the past to a point to where I'm inflicting this kind of like self pain onto me, but it's fuel to be like, damn, I caused this pain. I made this person feel this way. I made this person feel this way. Let me turn that into some goodness, and then do it in that way. Right. Because all of that shit is factored in. Yeah. But when I was doing the bullshit back in the day, I wanted to feel like shit, so I kept doing bullshit.
That is it. Because that's
something
comfort.
We gotta be,
That's your comfort feeling like shit. That's what you want, really.
And we gotta own that. We gotta stop telling ourselves and the people around us that we want something different, but we ain't doing nothing different.
That's right.
Cause you gotta have somebody in your life to be like, hey man, listen.
What are you doing?
I know you saying you don't want to cheat, but all you doing is cheating.
Dog, that is clean. Because you want that, dog.
What's really going on? Like we can't even, let's not even talk about cheating. Like there's something else deeper there going on.
It's not even about that. It ain't even about the thing. It's about the feeling.
You say you want to lose weight, but you just left the carryout.
Yeah, with 5 wings and mambo sauce, fries, salt, pepper, ketchup. 5 of them.
And you doing the exact opposite. You getting bigger.
Yeah.
So this is what you were saying before. So there's something else there.
Yeah, it is, dog. It is. It is.
And you gotta change how you even. Sorry to cut you off. You have to change how you even have those kind of conversations.
And it's so different, dog. Just because it's deep as shit that you want to feel that misery. You want it. You actually seek it so that then you feel it, and then you got this front, oh, woe is me, right? But really, you happy wallowing in it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh, woe is me. I'm not going to do that no more. I ain't going to drink and do that shit no more. That ain't, you telling your people, that ain't how I get down, all that. But secretly, dog, that shame and that laying in that shit is what you want. And then you do it again. Mm-hmm. And then you never really leave it. You just kind of move from thing to thing that makes you feel it.
And we got these mantras that we tell, like, you're supposed to be selfless. You're supposed to like everything you do is for you.
That's right.
Even if you don't know it. So it's like I'm admitting I like helping motherfuckers, and one of the main reasons why I help people, because it makes me feel good.
Right.
Is that selfish? Maybe. I don't give a fuck what you call it.
Is there anything else?
Right. So I enjoy it. Right. If otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I enjoy feeling like shit. Otherwise, I would have chosen to do something. So for me, and understanding why I made the decisions I made wasn't really to judge it and to say that was bad, that's not good, but just to understand, why am I repeating this pattern to get this result?
Right.
Because I'm choosing all of this shit, and I can choose something different. Yep. I can choose to be reactionary.
Yep.
Or I can choose to set the tone, or to have somebody else set the tone. Because if I'm letting somebody else set the tone, then that means subconsciously I'm getting something from that. The question to the individual is, what am I getting out of that? Not to judge it, but to understand.
Right. And here's the super deep shit. When sometimes the thing that you let set the tone is the shit that you've been through. So set the temperature. So that fucking misery and that bottomless pit that you always existed in, that's who comes and sets the temperature. That's who says, nah, dog, we gonna turn this shit to motherfucking 106 degrees. Yeah. Because that's where the misery is. You know what I'm saying? That's where I
thrive.
That's where I love. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we going. And ain't shit you can do. And you just ride it, dog. Because that's who you identify as. That's who you identify with, that miserable voice in your head. So anything it wants to do, that's what you do. So you never, until you can detach from that and say, nah, man, it's always gonna be there, but you gotta be able to say, nah, man, that ain't what we doing. We setting it at 85, and you can, you know what I'm saying? You ain't controlling this shit no more. But we dog it. So it's not just people, external things. Sometimes it's an internal voice that when we walk into space, we're going to set that temperature to 117 degrees.
And we use the outside just as the excuse for it.
Yep. That's right. Because we put ourselves in spaces where that can happen.
Yeah, like you do some wild shit to go to jail.
Right, like when you do. When you take a penitentiary.
Dog, are you telling me you want to go to jail?
Nah, dog. I'm just trying to stunt. That's different. Going to jail and wanting to stunt, two different things. Nah. See, I tell you, boy, people get Jordans, and all of a sudden they,
Hey, man.
They just.
I do see your mids though, bro, but you know they mids.
That's all right. I love these joints. These are my favorite joints.
They mids though.
I don't care. They're my favorite joints.
But you do understand.
I do understand that, but these
the
are
lowest tier of Jordan you could possibly
I got
get.
the highest tier too.
But
see, I could come in this
you
joint
either
with
got to
some...
be low or high, bro. You can't rock them. The mids is basically saying you indecisive. You telling people in the streets that you're unsure of yourself by mids because it ain't a low and it ain't a high. You can't make a decision.
I can rock whatever I want to because I got the collection to back it up. See, that's the difference, dog.
So
I can rock the lows, I can rock the highs, and I can rock the mids if I want to because my collection is like that.
All the sneakerheads, y'all know what I'm saying, and y'all know that this motherfucker's looking whack.
Let me tell you something. This dude I inspired this dude to up his game, and I can tell you the moment. I can point to the moment when you said never again. That night we was outside of the club, and I called your joints irregular. After that moment, world, universe. So this dude, it was, what was that, 2 years ago?
We were leaving a DJ
We was
gig.
leaving the club. We were standing outside. It was all of the crew. Shout out to everybody who was out there. Corey, my man, Mayo.
Yeah.
You, Ebony.
Kelly.
Was Kelly out there?
Kelly was there. Terrell was there.
Terrell was there. Your girl, Kenny had left.
Yeah, Kenny had left already.
And another DJ, was it Paul Howard?
Yeah, Paul Howard was out there because we went to they went to go get pizza.
Shout out to him. And he had on some joints, and up until that point, he was just rocking whatevers. And I called him, I said, damn, what's wrong with your Nike stripe? Them joints is irregular.
No, you said my shoes look like, you said they look like they came with like string holding them together.
Yeah, they're tied together in the box.
Like in the bucket.
In the big bucket.
In the bin.
In the bin.
He said my shoes were regular.
He said irregular. And after that day, he was nonstop getting joints.
So two things.
You're welcome.
So two things. I never wore the shoes again.
Of course.
But not because it's so crazy because I thought the shoes were dope. And then the minute you said that the swoosh was too big, they looked like they came. That's what it was too. You said they looked like they came from a 15. They took a Nike swoosh from a size 15 and put it on a 10. That motherfucker occupied the whole silhouette. And that's what it was.
Them joints was the whole side of the shoe.
I never thought the swoosh looked big until you said something. And then when I looked at the shoes, I was like, damn.
Dog, and that drove you, dog, to better things. And I just want.
I was already on the path.
No, you wasn't.
It was just that particular.
You stumbled that day. I
thought I was stunting too.
And after that, dog, next thing you know, he had all of the joints. I came over his house the next time. He was, Life, look at these joints. Try these joints. What do you think? You had all kinds. And now this is the respect. This is the things I get.
It don't. So everything you said is true, and it doesn't negate my statement. Mids tell people that you're indecisive, bro.
Dog.
They shouldn't. For one, they shouldn't even make them. And the people who do buy are basically saying, I'm not sure of myself. I don't know what I want to be in life. Do I want to be a winner or do I want to be a loser? And so you just like, you basically saying, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Dog, let me tell you this, dog. Again, I can't stress this enough. When you mature in your and your sneaker growth, then you understand that.
Do I got on highs?
I got highs.
Do you have them on though?
I chose not to wear them. I got highs, I got lows. Now remember, I'm 2 years deep in this.
About shoes or your personality?
Both. I got mids. I got a mid personality. You only 2 years deep in this, dog. I've been doing this. So I do what I want because I don't need to prove nothing to nobody.
Mids.
Listen, let me explain something to you. I had the joints when they first came out. See, that's the difference between you and me.
Mids?
All of them. I had the J's when they originally came out.
What? I didn't?
You didn't. I could look at you and tell you didn't. You just getting them joints. I had the joints in the 90s when they was out.
Hey man.
Because they didn't even have them in Kansas City. They didn't even sell Jordans in Kansas City, did they?
What's your favorite Jordans?
I'm going to say between the 11s and the 1s.
Why?
Because I think the 11s was different than any other Jordans up until then. And they just look clean. The joints look like a racing car. And the 1s is just the 1s. They got to hold a special place in my heart.
I think I like the 2s.
The 2s?
Only because my uncle, bro, I remember when he bought the shoes and he came to my grandma's house. God bless the dead, my uncle Butch. He came to the crib and he had them Jordans. And I remember he saying that he had the receipt that he paid $100 for them. And I was like, wow.
I remember them joints
And
too.
I remember looking at the shoes and he took them off and I just looked at them and stared at them. I fell in love with those shoes. And now it's so hard. Like I want a pair, not even to wear, but just to have. Yeah. Because of how much nostalgia it carries.
The 2s is clean.
But they don't get a lot of love though.
They don't. I don't know if they're rare. Like I think you know why? Because the 2s, again, they were so different. The 1s, you got everybody doing, their interpretations of them and all of that. And even
few people even touch the 2s.
Nah, nobody touched the 2s. I don't think you can.
So old boy touched them. Don C touched them, but they horrible. I didn't like them.
Well, they the ones that were, those aren't it was a blue or black or something.
I think he did do a blue, but the ones I'm talking about were like beige, I think.
Maybe that, yeah. That might have been that too. Some kind of brown, weird brown color. But yeah, the 2s was clean. The 2s were clean. Yeah, I remember all of them. I mean, dog, I remember I used to love them Olympic joints.
Oh.
Whatever they were. When I saw them joints, I was like, them joints is hard. And then Dennis Rodman had a pair. They weren't Jordans,
what the Rodmans look like.
They had the strap that crossed in the front.
Oh, the Raids.
Yeah.
No, Dennis Rodman wear the Raids?
Dennis Rodman, that was Dennis Rodman's shoes.
Huh. I don't remember that.
That was Dennis Rodman's joints.
Who wore the mids?
Me. Your boy. He said, you don't know whether you want to be what you want to be in life, whether you want to be successful. Man, that's
I got you, man.
Dog.
Socks is popping though.
Hey man,
we're gonna have to have a.
See, when you move up in life, dog, then you get to the sock stage.
So what is the face on? What's the face on your socks?
These UGK, dog.
UGK?
Yeah, this
Underground
is
King.
This Pimp C and Bun B on these joints.
You got men on your socks.
I do got men.
You got men on your underwear. You got UGK underwear.
I could. Why not?
Hey man.
You got a man on your shoes,
bro. You got mids.
This what we doing today? This what we doing today? You got on a baseball shirt?
We building, man. We building.
Nah, we ain't building. We gotta cut this off because I don't appreciate disrespect. That's all right.
That man got UGK socks.
UGK,
and
baby.
Bone.
Shout out to
Bone draws, Paul.
Bone Thugs. Shout out to Kelly. Bone Thugs was terrible.
They were horrible. Hey, nah, creeping on the come up. That was it.
Bone Thugs was.
You didn't like that creeping on the come up?
I did not.
I might bump that in the car.
But that's that Midwest shit.
Did you know that one dude was it Lazy Bone? Busy? Whatever the lightest one is. That motherfucker was on America's Most Wanted. Because he got kidnapped when he was a kid.
That's that Cleveland shit right there.
But his,
did they find him?
They found,
I mean,
nigga did albums.
I mean, but
he
did
got
they?
Found.
So his parents, where was he?
I can't remember. But he was on America's Most Wanted. He was like dad or mom or somebody kidnapped him, and he was gone for years, bro.
What was it, Redbone?
Redbone Thugs.
Redbone. Who was it, dog? It was Lazy Bone.
Whatever the light skinned one is. I mean, I'm sure
Bone.
Kelly, you know.
Kelly, put in the comment which bone it was that got kidnapped.
She just started following us today, too. Funny, she name pop up.
20 episodes in, you just... Anyway.
She a family.
But put whoever got kidnapped in the comments. And put all of them, dog. Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone.
How many of them was it? I don't know.
And Tasha. Remember she sang the joint, the hook? When she went through and named them all?
First
the
of them,
Thuggers Ruggers Bone. She said, and Tasha, you remember that joint? You supposed to know. Tasha.
I ain't that crazy. You know.
Crazy Bone, Lazy Bone, Flesh and Bone.
Crazy, Lazy.
Flesh and Bone.
That's not a
Dizzy or Izzy. Dizzy.
Dizzy Bone.
There's 4 of them, wasn't it? Too many. Too many of them dudes.
I mean, thermostat, thermometer.
And what we say we're gonna do, dog? How we gonna tune it for it? You want me an apology? 1. 2. Acknowledge when you being slight. And you've been slight.
You gotta call who you know.
So do you.
I don't have nobody to call. Dude, I've been so good at that shit.
You a motherfucking lie.
I'm telling you, bro.
Anyway, so you're saying I gotta recognize and call the person I've been slight and apologize. And acknowledge. You gotta say that they was right. And okay. you gotta fall on the sword. Okay. I was being a bitch. That's a lot. But okay.
I failed me and you.
I was being a bitch. He said I was being a bitch.
You got to be like, you was right. When you were saying what you were saying, you was 100% right.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to hear it, and I was wrong for that.
All right, dog. And then acknowledge. All right, let's do it.
I was wrong for that.
All right.
And then you got to be like, I was wrong.
You adding shit now, dog. You got to do the same thing. I'm pretty sure.
Do
we got to go there? So you need to call the Uber driver and find him.
Bro, I would. Honest to God, if I knew that dude's name.
You can look it up. You can find it.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, you do.
I would call him.
You could.
That was bad.
That was hilarious. I don't think a funnier day ever existed than that day.
I'm yelling. God, that was a pet peeve of mine, dog. Don't y'all hate when y'all order some food and then the people, and this is pre-COVID, by the way.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
You order you some food for delivery.
Yeah.
And the delivery person wants you to come out to their car to get it. I'm like, that ain't delivery.
That ain't delivery. It's delivery.
And one time, a dude came to my house when everybody was over there, live. Everybody was over there, he was chilling.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, because Ebony was actually the one, because I was going to go back out there and tune him up.
Yeah, you was.
And Ebony had already went out there to get the food,
yes,
and she was just tired of me
tripping,
embarrassing her, myself, and everybody else.
But the funny part, you was not going to get the food, though. You was really like,
I'm not going out there.
You're hungry. You was like, I'm not going to get the food.
Right now, you bring it in here. Oh, because you like, no. And then I'm getting louder and louder. And he said something, and then I went out there, and Ebony was walking back because I was getting ready. Oh, man. God bless her.
And then you called him back even after we got it. Didn't you call him back?
I don't think I did. I didn't have his number.
It was something like you were still on the phone. It was something, because when you told him that you ain't, You ain't never gonna be shit. I ain't never heard nobody say that to another human being ever in my life. He told that man, you ain't never gonna be shit. You put a curse on him, dog.
I'm taking it off.
You should call him. I'm pretty sure you can find him.
I'm sorry, brother.
That ain't enough.
Forgive me.
That ain't enough.
It's going to have to be.
I guess so.
And the best way you can show your sincerity for any infraction is by changing.
Clean.
And a lot of times we just want to apologize and go off and keep doing the same shit.
That's clean.
I actually changed.
That's clean.
So.
That's clean. And sometimes the change is way more important than the actual apology.
Mm-hmm.
Because the change is the apology.
Yeah.
Bars right there, boy.
Bars.
Bars right there.
Mid-bars.
Hey, Stevie Wonder month.
Oh, so.
We're going to do something for Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
We're going to spin some records, man. Have a good time.
May 13th, I think it's his birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's next weekend?
What's today? 5th? 6th, 7th, plus 7, Thursday.
Next Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the day my dad's birthday, man. So.
Oh, word?
Shout out to my dad, man.
Bro, 5'5"? What's Pop's name?
Ike. Irvin Gordy.
Irvin.
Mr.
Irvin, shout out to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
He did a really good job. I give him shit about his meds, but he's
yeah, I'm a solid individual.
He's one of my closest friends.
I'm bringing Miz. I'm bringing Miz back.
Good cat.
I'm taking a stigma off of Miz. That's my job.
Mr. Gordy. And look at bro.
What you doing, dog? Black man.
Listen. Our fathers are very sensitive subjects. Our parents,
yes, sir.
Our parents in general are very sensitive topics.
Yep.
And we all deal with loss and managing those feelings and all of that kind of stuff in different ways. Yeah. And life is a very private person, man. And the fact that he even acknowledged his pop today, man, is a beautiful thing. That means a lot to me, bro. Like just even knowing you and just how that ain't something you do.
Not at all.
Like, period.
Ever.
And I'm actually moved to even just sit here and just be able to share that with you, bro.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
Thank you for that, man.
Tuning. We tuning, dog. We moving frequencies around.
My man.
We doing it.
Mr. Irvin.
Yes, sir. Dr. Gordy.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, I come from good stock, man.
Man. Bro, all that head start you got in life, you blew it.
Still slight. After all that silver spoon.
How you don't blow that kind of head start?
Dog, I don't know, man. I've been asking myself that question.
I'm from the gutter. The only doctor I saw was Scholes.
And Pepper. Only doctor knows Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Scholes and Dr. Pepper. And we gonna end up at the same place?
Hey, man.
Sometimes you blew that head.
Nah, you just came up, that's all. And I blew the head start, so we right in the middle.